go.
Slow down a little, your head.
Slow down.
There we go, your tires are even,
Are
tires are even. Caddying while riding, yeah, still good. Keep hugging this right side. Left side, suicide, right side, good side, you know?
PGA Tour cards up for grabs.
These are the PGA Tour's proving grounds.
Can you step up and make one of the most important parts of your career? They tour level test.
You just gotta really grind, staying consistent, staying patient.
In a grueling season.
It is gut-wrenching for those guys out there.
Seems to be in shock a little bit. What just happened?
Tour hopefuls are sharpened into champions.
There's so many guys out here that will play on the PGA Tour, and it just so happens they're all here right now.
The singular goal remains the same: to earn a PGA Tour card.
On the Korn Ferry Tour, they are all just one shot away.
Korn Ferry Tour back in action after more than a 3-month hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
The next wave of PGA Tour hopefuls were back in action in the Sunshine State for the Korn Ferry Challenge at TPC Sawgrass, while England's Callum Tarrant returned to competition with a top 25 finish. It was Nick Hardy who made the most of his first event back.
Really lucky that golf's one of the first sports back. I think it's really cool. We got a great opportunity to set an example for the rest of the sport.
Finishing solo 9th to crack into the top 20 of the standings.
And maybe another player to keep an eye on, this young man here, Nick Hardy from the University of Illinois.
Coming back to competition after 3.5-month layover is never easy. I know what I did over the break was beneficial to make me prepared as possible to come back. I didn't make many mistakes at all, played really solid. I was really in the moment and really patient, and I certainly carried that over.
You go out there, give it your all. Nothing's given to you. Everything's earned. You got to roll up your sleeves and get it done.
But with plenty of golf still to play, the 24-year-old understands the season is more of a marathon than a sprint.
I picked up running pretty early on in my life because my parents are runners. Definitely get that runner's high going. That's why I like running. I feel great afterward. It's not only a good thing for you physically, but it's huge mentally as well. Running is really a good exercise, and I like to kind of incorporate it with my yoga. I like to get my workout started with running, so I'm sweating a little going to yoga, and my body's already warm going into it. I try to do yoga every day. After college, I felt like I could better my flexibility, and my girlfriend actually did a lot of yoga herself, so I just kind of followed her doing it. And after a couple weeks, I realized that I was getting a lot better at flexibility, and I felt better, so I just kind of stuck with it. Waking up and doing it and then heading to golf, I'm already warmed up. I don't need to hit as many balls and less aches and pains. I don't feel tired or stiff. It just helps my overall health. Back to down dog. Not just physically feeling better, yoga helps me mentally feel loose and sharp. I'm naturally a person who likes to get fast. I like to walk fast, I like to talk fast. That's really helped me stay patient and slow me down. Everything I do is to benefit me in my golf game. I have a lot of confidence in pretty much every area of my game. My mental game is probably the strongest asset for me. Just comes down to really just knowing myself under pressure.
This resolve under pressure has stood the test thus far, through a centered focus that continues to drive him forward.
I'm a really competitive person. I've always had a really good attitude and a really good positive outlook on my game.
Half-an-hour drive from TPC Sawgrass, Hardy's preparation and the time off continued to pay dividends as he finished top 10 for the second week in a row.
I put myself up near the top of the leaderboard after all 8 rounds, so getting those, experiences in is always good. Still a young player out here, and I've learned a lot the last 2 weeks.
And a fellow rookie was on a roll in the second round.
I was legit thinking, man, I'm gonna shoot 59 today. I was really in the zone, just kind of plugging away, having a good time.
Dawson Armstrong set a career low on the Korn Ferry Tour with a 9 under 63, putting him in contention heading into day 3 at the King and Bear Classic. With the return to golf in full swing, players were eager to shake off the rust at the King and Bear Classic at World Golf Village, and Drew Weaver found his form opening with a pair of 66s.
Coming off of such a big break, it's nice to, bust back open and make a bunch of birdies. Making cuts are good, but you want to get in contention and have a chance, and I feel like I'm pretty close to doing that.
Callum Tarrant joined him in the top 10 through 2 rounds, both trailing Dawson Armstrong, who sat in a tie for 3rd. But it was Braden Thornberry who made a charge on moving day.
I was bogey-free through 2 days, and then, kind of was able to, heat up a little bit that 3rd round. Just started to roll in some putts, and it was nice to get going.
And the former #1 amateur in the world is a spectacle to behold.
So many impressive young players coming up through the ranks right now, and Thornberry is one of those guys. Unique swing.
I like being unique, and I think it makes me stand out a little bit.
He has gotten a really efficient swing. It just looks kind of funny.
You have to be all in. I think you either have to change it or own it.
Beware of the guy with the funny-looking golf swing, because he really owns it. And Braden certainly does. He's a hell of a player. He stripes the heck out of it.
People that know what they're talking about really like it.
He kind of goes like arms in, club very outside, and then face a bit open, and then he drops it back under with a big kind of sweep through the ball.
It's what makes me, good at golf, and I don't want to necessarily change it. I'm just going to try to, make tweaks and be a little more consistent. I'm happy with the improvements that I've made, from driver all the way down to wedges. There is always comments that, say how ugly it is. People's definition of what a good golf swing is just is a little off. If it's effective, it's a good golf swing.
All that really matters is right before impact, up to impact, and through impact. And Braden's as pure as he gets it.
It's in the right positions at the right times. It doesn't feel like I'm looping the club at all.
It's in a day and age that everybody's so used to these really top golf swings that look pretty.
I think that's the biggest downfall of a lot of professional golfers is you go on Instagram every day and there's a million different swings off a million different golf coaches, and it's very easy to let some of that in.
Even in today's advanced age of golf instruction, there's always been a place for those off the beaten path.
You see other guys on tour like DeChambeau and Matt Wolff doing it their own way, and they're able to win with what they have, so it's pretty admirable.
And Thornberry is no different.
Everybody's golf swing is a little bit different. It's their thumbprint. I would imagine he swung like that most of his life.
I was like 10, 11, kind of made that a part of my swing, and it stuck with me.
A lot of great things ahead for Braden Thornberry.
I've been pretty successful at every level, whether that was around my area or, high school or college.
Collegiate superstar, Haskins Award winner, NCAA individual champion, loaded with confidence.
You're never going to be successful if you're second-guessing anything you're doing. I just have the drive to become one of the best in the pro circuit.
In his pursuit to be the best, Thornberry finished the week with 4 rounds under par.
Wish I could play a little bit better today, but 18 under for 4 days is always solid golf and, something to build on going forward.
Mito Pereira joined him in a tie for 21st to stay atop the standings, while Tarrant finished tied for 37th alongside Armstrong, who failed to capitalize on the highest 54-hole position of his career.
At the end of the day, you got to be able to handle pressure because that's what you prepare for, and that's not something I did. Hopefully we're able to learn from these last 2 weeks.
Armstrong, one of those young players to keep an eye on.
Back at the King and Bear Classic at World Golf Village, Drew Weaver showed resilience, finishing strong down the stretch.
I put myself in contention to have a chance to win, and had one slow round that cost me. I had to get over my emotions and just go back and try to execute and make a bunch of birdies on the final round. And 21st is a heck of a lot better than 47th, which is where I started the day. So always good to make up ground on the final day and build some momentum.
A mindset that has helped the journeyman persevere a bumpy career path to this point.
Expectations are tricky.
Drew Weaver, what a start to his professional career. Reminds me a little bit of Luke Donald.
Right before I turned pro, I played on the Walker Cup team with just an incredible group of guys who most of them have had great success on the PGA Tour.
Ricky Fowler owns the Island Green and the 2015 Players Championship.
When you play with a guy like Ricky Fowler, it's easy to sit back and look and say, gosh, you know, look at these guys that have done so well so quickly. But I just realized to stay in my lane, you know, figure out what works for me, find my formula, and execute it every week.
Certainly has the right makeup mentally, and maybe lacks a little bit physically currently.
My early years couldn't bust through Q school, so made the decision to go up to Canada, and thankfully had some success up there, which propelled me out here. Obviously at 33, I'd love to be on the PGA Tour at this point, but you know, it took me a while to gain some status and to move up the rankings a little bit.
Weaver has made strides in his 4th season on the Korn Ferry Tour, picking up the 2nd highest finish of his career.
I knew that Suncoast would be my last start before I took a few weeks off for the birth of our son. And, you know, it was great to be motivated to say, I'm going to go out here and make this last start count before my life changes.
And with new life comes new purpose for the 11-year pro.
The toughest part of professional golf is probably being away from your family. We just had our first child 3 months ago, so it's certainly a little harder to leave home.
Hey, Bills.
Hey, there's Dada.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Bills, you're looking mighty big, buddy. You're growing. You're giving me some smiles, buddy.
You see some smiles?
You feel like you're on an island out here. You wake up and you don't know what city you're in or which way the elevator is when you get out of your hotel room, and there's nothing more important than to have positivity and encouragement coming from your home base.
Hey, hi, Dad. I can't wait to see you.
I'm motivated to do well to give our son the life that he deserves. Bills, guess what? It's Father's Day on Sunday, my first one.
You're going to get to see your Dada.
Can't wait.
He's coming home.
It's the proudest moment that I've ever felt. To just become a father is an amazing thing. It's your offspring, it's your legacy, and to have your son look at you, you know, at 6:30 in the morning when you're feeding him, you see the huge smile, what a blessing.
Oh, there's some spit up.
That's pretty typical.
Basically getting a paternity leave with the coronavirus and our isolation. The days kind of melted by. I'm just thankful to still be playing and still have an opportunity to, you know, chase my dream.
As Weaver harnesses a revived energy playing for his son, Dawson Armstrong finds motivation living out a dream he shares with his father.
The entire goal of 2019 was to get full status on the Korn Ferry Tour. My dad obviously tried it a few times. He never really got to the position that I was in. My dad told me that he had tried this 8 times, and then it was a little emotional. It's a real big relief. That was my dad's dream, to be able to play professional golf at a high level. I'm glad I'm able to carry on his dream.
Keeping the dream alive, Armstrong focuses on the next challenge that lies ahead in Utah.
Let's roll. We're playing in the Utah Championship. Got a tee time in about an hour and 10 minutes. At the beginning of the year, that being my really the start to the Korn Ferry career, it was just kind of, you know, get your feet wet a little bit. But now I feel like we're starting to really work our way into the tour. Hopefully this week we're able to go out here and play some good golf and get back in contention.
Temperature check?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. There you go. That's what we can do now. When I get to the course, just get there, talk for a second, just hang out for a second. Well, Theo has the blessed opportunity to play with Braden Thornberry. Braden Thornberry, says my mom. Played some putts to work on speed for a minute at first, get the feel of the greens. That's gonna go right through his feet. That was perfect. That was so perfect. Then after that, we'll go over to the range for about 20 minutes, really get loose. And then we're off to the tee.
Oak Ridge Country Club hosts the Utah Championship, the 9th event of 2020.
Low scores flooded the leaderboard in the third event back as Ryan Ruffles, Nick Hardy, and Dylan Wu cracked the top 10 through the opening round.
Great to get off a good start on the first round. Just keep flying at it, keep making birdies.
Braden Thornberry's 12 birdies through 2 rounds put him just 4 off the lead, while Dawson Armstrong fell shy of the cut line.
I never was really able to get a real feel for the golf course. When the going gets tough, I need to hunker down a little bit better.
Also missing out on the weekend was Charlie Saxon, his 7th missed cut in 9 starts.
Golf's not always perfect. There's not a whole ton of glamour. We're grinding out, trying to get where we want to be. Ultimately, it was the PGA Tour.
With Saxon's season off to a rocky start, the bond he shares with his caddy, Ryan BOSHOVEN, helps him keep a level head.
He's just kind of a calming presence out there. You know, he never gets high, never gets low. He could make a hole-in-one or knock it in the water. I'm not sure he'd do a whole lot different reaction. He understands me and my game, what works, and he's got as much belief in that as I do.
He has the tools to get to the PGA Tour.
We got 2 guys out there working for the same goal. I feel like I have a really great shot at graduating off the Korn Ferry Tour here this coming year and making a career on the PGA Tour for a while.
Continues to learn and gain confidence and get better.
Off the golf course, we take 1 day a week, and we either get on our work early in the day or get it late, and the other half of the day, we'll go on some little adventure. That's just kind of my DNA. I love getting out and doing stuff like that, and Bosch is the exact same. That's why the 2 of us work pretty well. We're kind of free spirits with that.
I'm happy to caddy for somebody who is adventurous as I am, because sometimes it can be a little bit of a grind being on the road all the time, so it takes the pressure off when you can have a fun day in the week.
Yeah! We're here just outside of Salt Lake City and about to go on a little ATV adventure. We're in like these little side-by-side buggies. They're fun. They got a little bit of giddy up on them.
Here we go. I have to tell him to slow down every once in a while, you know? Charlie's kind of the wild man driver here, so I'm just kind of along for the ride. It's kind of like when I caddy for him too, just trying to get him to not make bad decision after bad decision. A couple times he got up to 50, and I was a little nervous. Palms were sweaty.
He's a good co-pilot, though.
I was guiding him, doing my caddy work. Hug this right side, you're good. I had the trail map out. I was telling him when the turns were coming.
I think we gotta go right here.
Making sure he didn't drive off the cliff.
I really want to see it move, man. Me too.
I love the mountains. I'd rather go to the mountains than any other place, so it's fun to get up here. It's as exciting as you want to make it. Some people make it more exciting than others. We're going to be kind of going up these trails, and then there's some tree runs. There's like a river you go through a little bit faster, so it's a good time.
I'd say hit it going fast, man.
That was a good one.
That was. I got wet there. We're doing it one more time. This hurt hard.
It's like a real life log ride out in nature. It's pretty good.
It's got a wall of water coming over the top of the car.
Slow you down and almost never stop.
It's part of what makes living life on the road fun. It's a different city every week. It's a new adventure every week. It's just fun memories to make with the guys we're traveling with every day. Oh, that's fantastic.
While Saxon made the most of his time in Utah, Ruffles Week will be remembered for stellar play in round 3.
Began at a 5 back. That is 7 straight birdies. That's what you do on moving day.
Despite an 8-under 63 on Saturday, the Aussie finished in a tie for 27th with Hardy as Thornberry picked up his second straight top 25.
My golf game's definitely trending in the right direction. I've put a lot of good rounds together, and I'm really, excited about these next couple weeks and, try to really get rolling.
Wu picked up his third top 5 of the season in Utah and currently sits 5th on the Korn Ferry Tour regular season points list, 3 spots behind Chile's Mito Pereira in 2nd. After earning his 4th top 10 finish 1 week later in Colorado, Hardy also rests inside the coveted 25 alongside Callum Tarran, who finished in a tie for 3rd. And Saxon put an end to his missed cut streak for his 2nd top 25 this year. As they chase their dreams of playing on the PGA Tour, One Shot Away will continue to document their unique journeys on and off the course.
Golf is my job and my life, but it's nice to have other hobbies outside of golf, and mountain biking is that for me.
Watch their stories unfold